Missing someone.
So a couple months ago, I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this post that said, entrepreneurship can open up the doors of your dreams. And it really came off as like entrepreneurship is super glamorized. And that was like, for me, that first taste of, wait a minute. I think that there's so much more than entrepreneurship that people really don't talk about. And I feel like these are conversations that are normal and should be normalized when it comes to either thinking about entrepreneurship, aspiring to be it, and actually being it. And so I do what I do best and go in the comments, okay? Because we all know that it goes down in the comments. And I saw this one comment that really like just hit my soul, honey, okay? When it comes to like, oh my gosh, like the wheels are spinning, the thoughts are spiraling. This comment just stood out to me. I don't know why it is, but it did. And all the person just said was that entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And that is indeed true. So if you've been following me for a long time, shoot, since the beginning, you know that I pretty much got on YouTube to talk about starting my at-home t-shirt business. I was able to go viral on YouTube, and that really like propelled my YouTube career, being a content creator, but also growing in my small business. And so what I really thought about over this course of me like not selling t-shirts anymore, I was like, I don't really see a lot of us talking about entrepreneurship and how the fact that people don't want it. And that's completely okay, because one thing about entrepreneurship is that we know that it is truly glamorized, okay? And I think it's normal to say that. Let's normalize just saying that. It's okay to say that entrepreneurship is glamorized. Like, listen, that's just what it is. I'm here to speak nothing but facts because that's what I know it is. If you guys watch my last vlog where I talked about hustle culture and how it's not for me and what I realized I messed up in, that was pretty much me just telling the universe that there are so many people I know that feel this way, and I think it's time that we all just talk about it and be cool with talking about it, because this is real life. There's nothing fake about entrepreneurship unless you got people out here lying, which, listen, that is none of my business. But what I'm trying to really say is that this is your life and therefore it's your rules. Entrepreneurship is great, but what I really want to talk about is that it's not the only way you can break generational curses. I feel like that is what has been programmed in our brain. Like, entrepreneurship is the only way you're gonna break generational curses. And I'm just like, let's be very realistic, because it's not. That's not the only way you break generational curses. And I just was so tired, honestly. I was tired of just seeing so many things about entrepreneurship while I was growing as an entrepreneur myself. And I really felt like conflicted. I just felt that it's not for everybody. I questioned if it was for me, you know what I'm saying? So I've been on both ends of it. Well, before starting an entrepreneurship journey, I really thought I was about to climb this corporate ladder. That was my focus. I did not care about social media like that. I wanted to be on it, but I didn't. And so I had a passion of doing something outside of my 9-to-5 job. But I want to tie it back to what happens when you're preparing yourself to leave your 9-to-5 job, and also how you just may have a change of heart, which is also normal as well, okay? Like, you can think that this is something that you want, but it is okay if you change your mind and you don't want it anymore. I feel like that's the same thing when it comes to working a 9-to-5. You can work this job and it could be something you thought you wanted, but you may want to do something else, and that's totally fine too. So I think that what we have to realize is that it is normal for our brains to function and know that we can change our minds, and that is not a detriment to your life. Like, changing your mind is how you evolve. Changing your mind is how you grow and live in abundance. So what I really am here to say and stress is that what I realized when I saw that comment in that post, when I was scrolling on Instagram, is that everything just started to unravel for me. Being in this new space where I'm now becoming a personal brand, and I love it here. I love the fact that being able for me to just show up and be myself on camera is so relaxing. It's just so much more freeing. I cannot tell y'all how this past weekend, by the time y'all see this video, I'm talking about the week prior. So this past weekend, I just really felt in alignment, like with who I really am as a person and as a brand. Like, Defined by Alex is the brand. The stuff I talk about are things that people should be talking about, and if I want to have a full circle moment, I can, because I want to start putting out the content that I like watching myself. And so this particular one is kind of like my breakthrough video of being this personal brand and really talking about the things that we need to talk about and be okay with. I also feel like when pushing entrepreneurship on people who may not have their life all the way together, that can also seem very intimidating, and also very like, it's a type of pressure that feels heavy. Like, they should feel inclined to start their own business, and if they don't, it's a failure. And that false sense of failure, because it's a false sense of it, okay? If it's not for you, it's not for you. So when I say false sense of failure, I just merely mean like, because you feel pressure of what someone else is telling you that you should do, that false sense of failure is kind of like there and you really don't know it. It's kind of like subconsciously you feel like a failure because you haven't pursued entrepreneurship. And no, like that's not what I want to put out there. And I think what has really compelled me to honestly make this video is the fact that I was in the space where I found myself slipping up, telling people to start their businesses. Like I remember talking to my friends and like they're at their 9 to 5 and I'm sitting here in my apartment chilling or working in my business and I'm like, oh, this is lit, friend, quit your job. I'm sorry. To my friends who are watching this, I am sorry, because I didn't realize how much of that person that I really wasn't trying to become, and I became it anyway. So I had to really check myself, because that's not for everybody. Everybody's time, and when they leave something, when they're transitioning, that's something that we cannot control. And I felt like I was trying to control my friends when I was like in my glory days of my business and they were at their 9 to 5, and it was kind of just like, okay, I need more people to hang out with who got business and stuff like that. Girl, no, I should have not been acting that way. So when I kind of like snapped out of that, and honestly I snapped out of it because I was going through my own struggle. So y'all know you get humble when you're going through your own bullshit, and let's just call it what it is, because that's what it really is. Like when you go through your own mess, it humbles you, and that's what it's supposed to do, because we cannot be on our high horses all the time anyway. We have to have humility in all the things that we do, because that's how we receive more. That's how we get to show each other grace and show ourselves grace. So that humility slapped me in my face, because I was going through the time of like, I was kind of feeling myself, and I expected people in my circle to jump on the entrepreneurship train, and that is indeed wrong.com. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that entrepreneurship has not been immensely successful for people. I mean, let's be honest, it's still something that people are still striving to walk in, have a slice of, and really experience what it means to really make money from themselves, like from their ideas, from their creativity. And even though that feeling is definitely not comparable to, you know, maybe a day job or something that you're used to, I really feel like entrepreneurship should match your personality. And when I say personality, I also am talking about your work personality as well. Because if you are someone who may seem content at the time, you know, we all know contentment versus complacent. Okay, and I'm gonna dive into complacent too. If you're someone who is content, meaning at this present time, you have everything that you need, you're getting a little bit of your wants, but you know you are progressing. And there are some things you are at peace with because it's out of your control, and where you are right now is exactly where you know you need to be. Versus complacent, where you're kind of like, at least I got a job, I don't have to do anything really, I can come to work and do the bare minimum, I don't really want to stay. That, my friends, I ain't finna glamorize that, because if you over here complacent, then I really recommend that you start working on that and getting out of that complacency, because that's not how you grow either. But I'm gonna tie this all in by saying that when it comes to entrepreneurship, you have to have the mindset of that more like content work personality, because when you're content and you know you're hitting those milestones in your business, then that helps you kind of evolve into like that hustle mentality, getting it done no matter what, basically. And that's not unhealthy at all, but sometimes if you have kind of that blended content and complacency type of personality, then that's going to be hard when it comes to entrepreneurship, because that's really where the shit hits the fan, and you realize that if it's not you that gets it done, then it won't be done. Especially if you're a solopreneur like I am. If you're someone who does it all, you have to really like take an assessment of your work personality and see if that's going to match when you have to start fitting for yourself, becoming the self-made boss. And are you ready for that? Okay, so just make sure that that's something you guys do when it comes to diving into entrepreneurship, because it is a very rewarding thing. Like when you start seeing the sales and you start seeing the results of your Facebook ads and you're putting in their work, that actually drives people. Like, listen, I'm not making it sound like nobody wants this, but I do want to also shed light on why it's okay if you don't, because it's a type of pressure, it's a type of stress, it's a type of emotional like instability that you may not be introduced to just because you've never done it before. So the moral of this video is basically just recognizing that, again, this is your life and you make it the way that you want. So if you want to have a business, then that means you have to know that it's levels to preparing yourself and wanting to have a business. If you want to continue working your day job, which first of all, that is never a bad thing, because if you know that the money is consistent consistent and you want to build a business, or you're working to start something on the side, then that 9 to 5 is going to help you fuel that. Because what I messed up on is really not having my nest when it came to my bills and my business expenses. And so what I want to put back out here is to make sure that if you're at your 9 to 5, start putting some money to the side, work on your credit. I actually saw this TikTok from one of my favorite influencers, and she said how she actually stayed at her 9 to 5 before she dived into being a full-time influencer. And that takes a little bit long. Like, that's not something that happens overnight too. We watch the people that we've watched 10 years ago, 10 plus years. You guys think of that time span, 10 plus whole years, and they're just now getting into, let's just say, the glitz and the glamour of the influencing side. And just kind of tying it back to influencing, this is still a pretty new field. So there's so many things that we don't know yet. There's so many things that we're still figuring out. I myself, one of the recipients of it, like working with sponsorships and understanding how to negotiate. Like, I had no experience in this. But what I'm saying is that if you're in a 9 to 5 and you want to become a content creator, a entrepreneur, small business owner, let that 9 to 5 fund all of your dreams and desires. Because I kid you not, if you want to do something in like beauty and makeup, obviously your 9 to 5 is going to help you get the beauty and the makeup products, because you're not going to always get stuff for free starting out. So basically, don't be so quick to leave your 9 to 5. Also, let it just marinate in your mind. If this is also a time in your life where you're trying to figure out what you need to do, what you want to do, what's going to make you happy, that's something that you're going to have to do constantly. Like, I'm still constantly trying to figure out what it is that I genuinely want to do. But when I tell you guys, this is it. Like, being on YouTube is one of my all-time passions, has been for a long time, and I'm seeing the reward from me actually seeking what I've been wanting. Like, everything you seek is seeking you, okay? And so that's how I am. That's the space I'm in right now. But you may be in your 9 to 5 still trying to figure it out, and that's okay, because again, it's normal to have these feelings. It's normal to not make a quick decision on something that is going to change, you know what I'm saying? Because we are hesitant to change. So don't feel bad if you feel like you're taking a long time to make a decision. Sometimes it's really how it pans out. You have to see where all of your cards are laying out, where your life is right now. But ultimately, again, this is your life, and I want you to know that you have to make your own rules in deciding how you're going to do that. All right, friends, so that is it for today's video on pretty much why entrepreneurship is not for everybody, okay? I know I talked a lot. This video was one of the first videos I'm excited to pretty much start in this whole new transition of becoming a personal brand. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me this long. If you have, I appreciate you. But also leave me a comment. Let's go ahead and keep this conversation going in the comments if you guys are feeling some type of way about entrepreneurship, or if you really just agree that entrepreneurship is not for you or it's not for everybody, and I want to hear your thoughts. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to always drink your water, mind your business, and choose yourself first, and you'll catch me in the next video. Bye, y'all.